Hey everybody, how's it going? What's new? What's happening? What's your world like right now? Oh goodness, things are wild. Hey Knuckles, how's it going? Um, I am multi-streaming right now. I'm kind of playing and testing with the new Stream Elements multi-streaming um, option. Oh hey Simath, thanks for that resub. I appreciate it. Yeah, so I'm streaming on. Last time I was testing out Kick and decided I hated Kick, so I am streaming on Twitch and YouTube. So we'll see how that goes. So far, so good. Um, oh, you're in a D&D game. Hola, Diana Moon. Hey, welcome in. Uh, Kineas, hello. Nice to see ya. Let's see, Loki Boy, hello. John Doom, I know you're going to a interview right now. Noisily Weeping Taco, happy Thursday. Mini Marker, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Yeah, gosh, things be crazy right now. They're wild. It's bonkers. The world is bonkers. Um, I know how that is, Diana Moon, looking for a job. I too am looking for a job, so I've been doing that since a year now. It's been a year. Yeah, so that's fun. But yeah, I don't know. I had a pretty good interview on Tuesday, so fingers crossed. Let's see. Um, but yeah, yeah. I'm trying a different angle here. The first one was like way up here, so it was just kind of like this downward thing, and I didn't love that. So now I'm here. It's a little bit more at head height and a little bit easier for me to read and everything. So I've got that whole like teleprompter thing going on. Thank you for crossing all your fingies and toes. Yeah, I'm I'm hopeful, but yeah, there's I don't know. There's a lot. There's a lot going on. Um, Thank you so much. I appreciate the support. So I wanted to talk about a few things. I wanted to kind of, while I'm at this period where I have nothing going on and I have the house to myself while my wife is out doing her job. I thought I would try and do some sort of test streams and talk to you all about kind of what I'm working on with Saving Throw, kind of behind the scenes. Now that I've moved again. I think if you've watched this or followed me on social media, you know that I moved out of LA several years ago. Moved to Salt Lake City, where my wife is originally from, and we were there for a few years, and then we moved up to Seattle, where I'm originally from. So now I'm in Seattle, and I love it here, and it's been really interesting because when I moved, I was doing. Hey, Kawagaru Wolf, how's it going? Nice to see you. Um, so yeah, when I moved from Washington 17 years ago, over 17 years ago, the thing I was primarily doing, aside from a stupid day job, was making movies. I was doing a lot of short film production. And a lot of my friend base here in Seattle is are filmmakers. And the my initial reason for moving, um, it was to make more movies, basically. So I moved down to LA to do that. I moved down at a pretty inopportune time. It was the start of the writer's strike, and that made things quite difficult to find work. But eventually I did find some things. And really, RPGs sort of came out of that. Just sort of like, oh, we're doing, yeah, I still did some film stuff, some short film stuff while in LA, but RPGs sort of like came back into my life. And I was like, man, I really enjoy this. So I had that. So now I come back here and all of my friends are like, oh, what filmmaking stuff are you doing? And I'm like, well, have you heard of streaming? That's what I'm doing now. And it's odd. I think if you're my age and you tell people that you're doing streaming, it elicits a different reaction, I think, than if I was, you know, 30 years younger. But it is really interesting. I went to my first meetup of Twitch. Well, it's an online broadcast, Seattle Online Broadcasting Association. So it's mostly Twitch streamers, but also people who do YouTube and other things. And I went to basically a little meetup thing, and that was great. I got to meet a lot of cool people that are producing content out there, and that was fun. I got to go back to GameWorks, which I'm surprised still exists, but it certainly does. And yeah, so that was really interesting. And then I've been sort of connecting with local actual play producers, and that's been really fun. I tried doing that in Utah, and it didn't go the way I was hoping. Um, I don't know. It's really weird. It's always weird when you kind of come into clicks and stuff from outside, especially coming from where I was in LA and um doing what I was doing in LA with the people I was doing it with. Um, Kind of created this sort of um, level that I kind of assumed everyone was at or wanting to be at or working from or anything like that. Um, Kineas, you would think that the demographic might skew away from tabletop gaming or anything, but actually it's huge in Utah. It's giant. There's a lot of big conventions that are there, and there's a lot of people doing it. But the AP, the people who are doing actual plays, hey Wes, how's it going? Um, Everybody, Wes, Wes Otis, Plate Mail Games, how's it going? Um, yeah, the difference in like what people were doing there versus what was happening kind of in LA. I mean, LA was very much a kind of and Wes, you could probably back me up on this, but is kind of more of a performance um, based actual play experience. So there's storytelling. There's a lot of um, kind of dark moments. There's humorous moments. There's a lot of elements, but it's really performance based over mechanic based, and even more than that, it's for an audience. Like everyone knows that there's someone watching. It's not just, hey, we're a bunch of friends playing in our garage. There's an audience. Let's make sure we are doing something that the audience enjoys. Um, and when I left the bubble of LA, what I found was the the idea of the audience as another member of the party basically was not, don't want to say non-existent, but it wasn't necessarily the first thing that anybody was thinking of. A lot of people were just like, I have fun playing my game. I like actual plays, and so I'm going to create an actual play out of my game. And that's totally legit. It's totally valid. Uh, see you, Loki boy. See ya. Um, and yeah, so there was a lot of like, I would come in and I'd be like, hey, y'all, I've grown a channel from nothing to, on YouTube to have like 40,000 subscribers and 17,000 followers on Twitch and stuff like that. And I would love to help anybody else kind of like take what I've learned in the 10 plus years that I've been doing this and, you know, go from there. And a lot of people were like, I don't want to do that. And I would say, okay, well, do you want to like, oh, there's a convention coming up. Do you want to like go in and we can do a live game or something like that? Like we can do that. Oh, I don't like being in front of people. Oh, okay. Why are you doing this again? And again, my interpretation of what works for streaming role playing games is not everybody's cup of tea, and I would never do what I do on Twitch or YouTube or whatever. I would never try and push that on a home game for sure. Like it just doesn't work. It's not tenable that way. But it really was an interesting like culture shock of oh, I thought everybody knew that we were doing that, like we're performing. It's like someone taking Shakespeare, and I know people who do this. They'll just stay at home and they will bring their friends around and they'll read Shakespeare with each other. And that's great. It's cool. It's like a book club. That's totally fine. But also, Shakespeare is meant to be performed, right? I'm not saying RPGs are meant to be performed, but if you are taking the extra step of, hey, evil dice monkey, yeah, put me on 2 speed, really quick. But if you are taking the extra step to put your content out for people to digest, but not going, I don't care about the audience. I don't know, like that really confuses me. I'm not sure like what the impetus is. Like I would never go through the effort of doing all of this, creating frames and overlays and adding captions and all of these things if I wasn't thinking that I wanted your experience to be as good as my experience. So it was a really weird, like, I don't know. Like I said, kind of a culture shock of I didn't know that. Yes, I am on Blue Sky. I think if you find me, savingthrowshow.com. I think if you look for savingthrowshow.com, because they let you, if you have a website, they let you kind of do it through your website, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I think if you search for Saving Throw Show, it's got my picture on it. I think I'm doing this. So look for that. Yeah, right. If so, so even if you've got 2 people watching, you still like there's still an audience there. There's a you have to be thinking of that performance concept because I've always treated it like it was a community theater, and people come in. They're producing content. I want to respect the time that they've spent creating that content. Like, especially like GMs and stuff are coming in, having spent the week working on what they wanted to do and present and all of this stuff. And the players come in knowing I'm going to, play this character, and I'm going to listen, and I'm going to say yes and I'm going to say no but, and we're going to figure it out, and we're going to create this thing together. And so I had a respect for them that I wanted to, push this forward. I didn't want to be like, we're just throwing this up online. If anybody watches, great. If anybody doesn't watch, no problem. No, I want people to watch. Otherwise, I wouldn't put it online. I don't, I don't know that I know a lot of people, even in LA, who are like, let's just put it up, and what happens, what happens happens. And to me, that was anti what the whole purpose was. That I want people to be watching. So, yeah, that was a huge kind of component. Yeah, Artie Armand, thanks. Yeah, that's a really close analogy. It's a combo of improv and a staged reading, and it is long form improv, and that's hard. It's hard for people to kind of put together, and yeah. So I don't know. I've been coming at it from a completely different angle than a lot of people who have also been producing content. And honestly, when I go around places, I'm one of very few people that I meet who have a video actual play. Most everybody that I've met, I don't know that I've met any other people in person that have a video RPG, unless they take their podcast and throw it up with just a static image and put it up on YouTube. So I'm coming at this from a very niche part of a niche hobby. So niche on niche on niche on niche. I'm playing a niche game, online, and it's very, very different. Hey, Artemis, welcome on in. So yeah, it's been really interesting to see kind of what that is. Lurking Shade, thank you for that resub. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Well, we're going to talk about supporting the show in a minute, but yeah. So yeah, you're totally right, Wes. Yeah, there's a lot more control in podcasts. You can do a lot more with them, and it's a lot easier to the portability of podcasts is way more enticing for a lot of people. You just kind of can throw it on your favorite podcast app and listen whenever. With a show that's video like this, you have to be kind of cognizant of, okay, can I have YouTube be on? That's going to eat all my minutes, all my data, whatever it is. Like it's a lot harder to work with something like that than it would be just a podcast. And the podcast, you can really fine tune. I know people who are just really, really into the weeds with the audio, and that's awesome. I mean, that's what I want with our video content too. So anyway, coming to Seattle, I was expecting more of a Utah. I was actually expecting more because I know at least 2 live in-person groups that stream in Seattle and like in a studio. So very similar to what I was doing in LA. And so I was expecting a little bit more of a understanding kind of what I do. And a lot of actors that I knew were kind of getting it, and in the recent years, in the last 5 years or so, have gotten into streaming role-playing games. And so it's been really interesting to kind of see that. So I was expecting Seattle to be closer to LA in that stuff, but honestly, like a lot of, I found a lot of people who are still hesitant to kind of dip their toes into that arena. But I found a lot more than I did in Utah, and the people here have been awesome. I mean, I cannot stress it enough. The people that I've reached out to and talked with and met with, they've all been really cool and supportive and stuff like that. So I'm really excited. It's really kind of helped sort of push me to enact this plan that I've had for new content. So yeah, Rose and JC are actually up north. They are kind of close to Seattle, but they're not super close, but they're about an hour or so, hour and a half north of me. So they are close too. Just catching up on everybody's. Is this awkward that I'm staring at you while I'm reading all of your comments? Yeah. So yeah, the one of the things that's hard for anybody who's taking their content online and trying to find an audience is, and something that I've tried to tell people is, you can't just take a home game and hope that people will jump into it like they do with Critical Role. So there's a lot of like, you can't expect Critical Role like numbers ever. I mean, that's just, it's never going to happen again. I mean, yeah, Dimension 20, but you have to realize like Critical Role, they started 10 years ago. They had been playing together for years before that. So they already had a pretty solid camaraderie. They knew each other. They knew exactly what they could do. And they're all performers, right? So take people who are very comfortable on camera in front of a microphone, take that and then give them the geek cred of Felicia Day to say, these guys are great, watch them. Basically, Felicia was like the Oprah of streaming in those days, early days of Geek and Sundry. And Felicia or Will Wheaton could say, this person's a nerd, watch them. And huge swaths of people would say, you got it, I'm into it. So it's been interesting seeing people who, I've never met anyone who's like, I know we are the next Critical Role. I know no one has ever done that, but you like that circumstance really can't happen anymore. Same with Dimension 20. You've got years and years of College Humor and Dropout, and those people are faces that and they are all performers. They're all improv performers, brilliant improv performers, and have been playing games, and then suddenly one of them's like, we can take this to the next level. And you get someone from Critical Role saying, hey, you should watch these guys. Have you seen this Brennan guy? He's really cool. You should watch him. And then everyone goes, oh, you said it's okay? So there's tastemakers that really, like, for the bulk of audiences out there, there's these tastemakers that can dictate who is good and who isn't. So it's like you kind of have to like put those outside. And yeah, they have money. They have plenty of money. They are not reliant on... I mean, Critical Role obviously needs to have Critical Role, right? They need to do that show in order to keep things going. But now that they've got a cartoon, books, all these other diversification of their brand, that's less important. It's still the prime element, but it's less important for them. Yeah, yeah. I just need one billionaire. That's all I need. Um, hey, Ellie, how's it going? Welcome on in. No, you didn't miss it. Still here. Um, yeah. Um, Keen, no, she goes by JC now. Jacey, just FYI. Um, yes, I would have loved to do a Wild Cards comic series. I was talking with an animation studio about taking some elements of Wild Cards, and they really loved Wild Cards and they wanted to do some stuff, but that was pretty much at the time that Wild Cards ended, so I had nothing um, anymore. Yeah, Jacey, by the way, Keen. Um, and uh, yeah, so that would have been cool, but yeah, we didn't have any more content for them. I didn't have anything like, I don't know. It was hard. They were like, we can produce like 2 minutes of an animated something, and I was like, okay. Um, who knows? Oh, hey, Ellie. Okay, cool. Oh, you're bending metal right now while you listen? That's awesome. Very cool. Are you a metal bender? Interesting. We should show more Avatar stuff. Um, oh, Evil Dice Monkey. I love that you still have your Wild Cards shirt. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, fast forward. I'm now in Seattle. For the last 3-ish years or so, I've been really itching to get back into streaming role playing games. So, the last thing we did was in 2023 and was the Pathfinder for Savage Worlds one shot that we did. And it took me a long time to edit that content and get it up on YouTube. So it seems like we haven't been gone terribly long. But yeah, it's been 2 years since I streamed any role playing game content. And before then, it was several months before then and before we did that Pathfinder content. So yeah, there was a lot. I I've been wanting to do something, but I knew I couldn't go back to business as usual. Not only has the landscape changed, but I've changed, and I kind of was like, there's a lot of things that I wish I could have done differently when we were doing Saving Throw, and it's really hard. It's hard. You don't know what you don't know, and it's difficult to run a business, especially when I was doing it full time for myself, and kind of like dealing with, oh man, I have to make money to pay rent, not only at home, but also the studio that I have that's running things. It's a lot. It's a lot. Hey, Shock and Awe Gaming, welcome on YouTube. Um, so anyway, yeah, yes, it's a learning experience. Absolutely. There's a lot that's kind of like going into it. So anyway, I was like, I've been working on these concepts and thinking of, oh, how would I do this differently? What could improve this? And reading comments on Reddit and uh, the website formerly known as Twitter, before everything went to shit on there, and then Facebook and whatever. And I was noticing that we still had a really active community around Wildcards, our Savage Worlds show. And the Savage Worlds community was still very active in promoting the show, which was wild to me. I was like, this show's been off the air for 5 years or whatever, but they're still interested. They still want to see more. And so I was like, okay, well, I can't get the band back together again. Everybody's doing different things right now. And I don't want to do wild cards again. I want to do I have a different idea. So I've been working on a new concept of a show, another Weird West show. So it's kind of Deadlands adjacent, but it's got my own story and lore behind it, and basically a new way of sort of presenting that material that not only uses each format, so Twitch, YouTube, podcast, to its utmost degree, but really, like, I don't know, raises the bar for what a live stream role playing game can be. Now, I will never be able to compete with the likes of Critical Role or Dimension 20 or Geek and Sundry. Maybe Geek and Sundry now, but but that I didn't mean to burn good people at Geek and Sundry. But anyway, I do think I could do pretty well. So yeah, I've been wanting to showcase something, because what I see so often is I see two show concepts all the time. D&D, and it's usually not D&D that they're playing. And yes, it is Savage Worlds that I'd be sticking with, and for multiple reasons. But the two shows that I see the most are D&D, and I will lump in Pathfinder with D&D, although normally I wouldn't. But in terms of concept, most shows revolve around D&D in some way or another. They're high fantasy shows, and a lot of them sometimes aren't even they're completely different concepts, but they're using D&D because that's all they know. That's okay. That's not a problem. I want to stress it's okay to use whatever system you want. However, I do think that there are other systems that are better suited to some of the stories that people want to tell. So I see a bunch of D&D, and I see a bunch of Blank City by night. I see a ton of vampire games, and a bunch of people who are just like, I'm going to take my city and add by night at the end, and then it's just like LA by night or whatever it is. And these are the things that I see. And I'm just like, there's so many more stories out there. I don't need to go into these areas again. And I want to show that there is a huge, vast swath of games and settings to play with that aren't D&D or Vampire the Masquerade. And both great games on their own. I have next to no problems with them. At least as they are games. Mechanically, I might have problems with some Hasbro things. I'll have problems with. This is why I can't get a job at Hasbro. I think they watch my content and they're like, no, never mind. Yeah. So yeah, and yes, to Diana Moon's point, I see a lot of people who look like me playing these games, which is fine. And great, but it doesn't really represent the, it doesn't represent the people that I see playing games and that I want to see playing games. So anyway, yes, I am going back into the realm of Savage Worlds. I don't see Call of Cthulhu very much. I see it. I only see it because Becca plays it on Good Time Society a lot because Chaosium sponsors them, and I'm very curious as to how much Chaosium pays them because, yeah, I'd be interested to hear that. Probably, I don't know if I'm still under NDAs or anything from any of these gaming companies, but yeah, I'm very interested to see that stuff. But yeah, so I don't see a ton of Cthulhu stuff. So anyway, speaking of Cthulhu stuff, so my Weird West show is has some Lovecraftian elements. However, it's not the it leans more towards the existential threat of a nihilistic entity than it does. Oh, here's Cthulhu! Look out! Shoot your guns! It's not going to work. There's a little bit of that in there, but the big bad could care less about anything. And so in my world, I thought it was really fascinating to take the Western trope of a hero who has nothing to lose and pair them with a enemy who doesn't care about anything. And how that hero can basically reignite hope and joy and humanity enough to combat this evil. Thanks, Wes. Take care. It was great having you, and yeah, definitely we'll be in touch. I'll talk to you soon. So yeah, there was a lot of in the last couple of years, especially the last few months. You know, I have felt strongly about how kind of awful everything has been in the world, especially in our country. Hey, Dragon Feathers, how's it going? Welcome on in. And so I wanted to kind of take that and, aside from real world stuff, I wanted to sort of take what I wish could happen and put it in a fantasy element, in a fantasy world, and kind of explore that stuff with a really entertaining plot and a way of doing things that I feel could be cathartic and that's kind of what I was kind of going for with this show. So let me go here and just kind of show you sort of a concept art that I've put together for this. So I'm calling it House of Yargoth right now. There's a long history of where this name came from for me. And I think Yargoth is a very lesser known. I think there is an actual Yargoth in Lovecraftian lore. But anyway, I kind of have been building this backstory for this show, and I'm like, I need to tell this story somehow, and the way that I know how to do that is through role-playing games. And so I've started sort of taking things to next steps and putting out casting calls and crew calls and things like that, and getting some awesome people applying, and so yeah, we're just sort of going through kind of slowly. Yeah. Oh yeah, RD Armand. I totally get you. Yeah. A a lot of the problems that I think people have with Lovecraftian stuff is that it is usually thrown into a if we have enough firepower, we can stop it. And I don't think that people really have the kind of what Lovecraft was sort of going for, minus the misogyny and racism, um, and 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 what he was trying to say with cosmic horror and stuff like that. So I wanted to sort of honor that trope a little bit more. There's plenty of room for there's a big beastie, we can shoot our guns at it, and we can have the traditional Western kind of feeling. But I think that having an overarching kind of like, this is not something you can just win by shooting at it, you know? I thought that was kind of a fascinating concept, and one that I feel like Savage Worlds really allows you to play with, and it gives you the mechanics to work with that. So yeah, I'm really happy, really proud of kind of what's coming out of this, and I'm really looking forward to moving forward with it. So right now, I'm at the very base stages of starting the project. I'm bringing on crew, namely. So I do want to perform in it, but I don't want to do technical directing and perform and editing and everything that I was doing before with Saving Throw. So I'm trying to find like-minded folks who kind of can see this vision and help me work through it. But obviously, you know, we need to find some form of financing to sort of make it happen. You know, editors and stuff cost money, and I want to respect people's time, actors and performers and everyone for doing what they're doing. So while I could just throw this up there and use Zoom and use a few friends and stuff like that, that's not what I want to do. Like I have a vision for this. It would be set in a studio. I have a really cool idea for the set that basically could utilize, you know, again, this is like pie in the sky stuff, but I think it's all doable. But you would have vertically aligned TVs, and you would build a set that looks like a old cabin or something like that, like use reclaimed wood, and around those TVs you build little windows, and maybe you even put like drapes or something around them, and then you can tie in graphics into those with, you know, a stream deck basically. So the GM can be like, you're out in the prairie or something, and they'll hit a button on the stream deck and all of the windows show a prairie scene. And then, you know, oh, you're in the depths of hell or whatever, you know, and then he hits a button and then suddenly everything goes red, the lights turn red, and the TVs show this kind of a hellish landscape behind you. So I really wanted to do something like that, or even like you're on a train and suddenly all of the windows, you know, the landscape starts moving behind everybody. So you really can feel kind of like you're there, and it elevates it beyond just sitting around a table playing a game, and makes it a bit more of a I don't know, an art piece, I guess, but it falls in with what I like to do, which is, you know, again, elevate a story using a role playing game, and do theater, basically, and film using those elements to elevate that whole thing. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking of. Yeah, I do like the train idea. I would love to design a set that mimicked or looked like the inside of a train, because that's kind of part of the concept. But yeah, I don't know. That's also really expensive. So, but I have some folks who are, kind of starting to come on board, and want to help out, and so that's coming closer to fruition. I don't really know how close that's going to be, but essentially until we can get to there's two things that basically need to happen. We need a studio space. We need a place to basically set up shop and do this. Once we have a studio, and then a lot of things can kind of start falling into place, and we can start setting things up, and having elements that we can put together. That's awesome, Dragon Feathers. Yes, absolutely. There will definitely be a need for that. So yeah, if people want to help, there's basically two sites to look at right now, and I know I'm bouncing around things, but I'll come back to it. So there's two things to look at. If you go to our website, savingthrowshow.com, there's two sites at the top. There's work, which is that's basically the call. That's what I've put out for for people to help, essentially. So if you're interested in anything, there are some remote positions, but a lot of stuff, the players, game master, technical directors, stuff like that, basically need to be in Seattle. Hey, SF Giants 49er, welcome. So yeah, so there's that. And then the other one is what Stream Elements just posted in the Twitch chat, is our fourth wall site. So if you go to the Outpost link on savingthrowshow.com, you can kind of see what I've built as our new membership program. So the new Exploration Society. And I really like Fourth Wall. I've talked about it before. And I'm excited by what the potential is, and yeah. I think if you kind of take a look at it, you'll see I've hopefully answered a lot of questions, but certainly if you look at it and you're like, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense, or I've still got questions or whatever, I would love to hear any feedback. There's basically a soft launch of this membership program. But what I'm hoping is that we can kind of do it this way rather than like a Kickstarter or something, because I think sustaining memberships are far more impactful and valuable than a Kickstarter, which may or may not make things happen, right? So yeah, so there's I'm hoping to build that up. It's honestly, it's a giant ask. It's a huge ask. We basically need, I think, to be somewhat self-sustaining, we would need something like 1,500 people to back us at the lowest $5 level, which seems like basically an insurmountable number. I know YouTube channels that have 1 million plus people following them who have a fifth of those numbers. So for our little YouTube channel, as big as it is nowhere near 1 million people. To get to those numbers is a huge ask. Especially in a community that's like, I don't know why I would, you guys haven't done a lot in the last few years. I don't really know why I would do that. So yeah, um, that was a huge thing. And yeah, I did close up shop. I definitely closed up shop because I wasn't producing anything, and it was not ethical of me to take money and not do anything with it. Even if I could have used that money, I didn't want to do that. So now that I've got a plan, now I'm like, oh, okay, now we can open things up again, and in a better way, a better fashion. Fourth wall, coffee was great. Patreon, coffee was much better. Fourth wall is like the best iteration of all of those things, and hopefully it will be around forever. It's used by a lot of big names in YouTube and other things. But it's a merch site that also offers memberships. If you are a Twitch subscriber, you get the same discounts. You get similar discounts to someone who joins as a member in the Exploration Society. So what I like about it is with like coffee, for instance, I couldn't do anything with Twitch. If you backed me on Twitch, that meant nothing. It didn't help the greater membership push on coffee. And I didn't like that you would have to basically support both ends of things. So I wanted to find a solution that basically rewarded you for being on Twitch. If you're on Twitch and you want to stay on Twitch, you can do that. But also you can support on Fourth Wall, and there's a lot of cool options for you there. So, oh, that's interesting, Keen. Yeah, that it detected the Canadian dollars, but the prices were still in USD. That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, their testing is a little bit, I will say, is a little bit lackluster. So I can't and obviously I wouldn't have known to even look for that. But hopefully it works out. If you want to give it a go. If it doesn't, I can always refund you. It's really easy to refund on there. That's honestly one of the really nice things is that not only can you use Fourth Wall for just tipping, you can do just simple donations, just like you used to do before. You can do donations. There's tons of merch on there. CSI Math, thank you so much for coming in. There's a ton of merch on there. If you're a fan of East Texas University or anything like that, there's a plenty. We've got a ETU hoodie, and there's coasters and bunches of things. There's merch, and if you're a Twitch subscriber or a member of the Exploration Society, you get a discount on all that merch. And in some cases, you get merch that's only available to members of the Exploration Society. So you've got donations, merch, and memberships all in one handy system. So rather than me having to go, okay, I've got I got Patreon people that are still on Patreon that don't want to leave Patreon. I've got Coffee people who are on Coffee that don't want to leave Coffee. I've got Twitch people who are on Twitch that don't want to leave Twitch. I've got people putting donations through PayPal, Stream Elements, Twitch, blah, 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 blah. So it goes all the way through all this stuff. So Fourth Wall kind of consolidates most of that stuff. Still have Twitch on its own, but Fourth Wall at least integrates with Twitch and allows us to have that same engagement with our Twitch subscribers and our members so that it works. Yes. So there's a lot of cool things that you can do with the memberships that obviously are still being worked on. It's hard. Like I said, this is a soft launch. I'm still probably months away from any content being produced, but obviously we have to get started somehow. So I'm doing what I can to get things going and flowing. And then, hopefully we can, hit the ground running with a stable of savings. But I'm really hoping I can find a free location to set up shop in, but I really highly doubt it. So anyway, we'll see. But yeah, so a lot of the same things, you can get discounts on a lot of the merch, which I wasn't able to do through Coffee. Fourth Wall has way more variety of apparel and other things that I just can't get on TeePublic or anything like that. I miss not being able to connect to other TeePublic stores like that. Favorite Enemy, the Patriarchy shirt, that wasn't ours. We didn't design that. That's D20 Monkey, Brian Patterson, who designed that wonderful shirt. I still have mine. And the nice thing about TeePublic is we could share that on our store and they would get the money for it. We would get a small kickback too, and that was all fun and nice. However, with Fourth Wall, I can sell our mugs, our Exploration Society mugs, our t-shirts that I got for the Exploration Society. I can sell those right along with all of the other content like the desk mats and coasters and buttons and t-shirts and other things that you can get through Fourth Wall. And Fourth Wall has a bunch of options that, TeePublic, you're stuck with whatever shirt TeePublic uses as their shirt supplier. With Fourth Wall, it's much more like a sort of more professional system in that I can choose the shirt maker. There's like 5 or 6 different t-shirt brands that I can choose from. So, I can really dial down and find fits and fabrics and things like that I really like. And you can go even further into it and go beyond just, the prints and stuff that they have. Everything is print on demand right now, but I can go even further and do, like embroidery and things like that. Keen, yeah, absolutely, sure. Yeah, if it's cool. Oh, see, there you go. See, it just did the little thing. Look at that. Thanks, Artie Armand. I appreciate that. So yeah, I'll figure out a new graphic for that. That's not the final graphic, but anyway, that's really cool. Yeah, if it's okay with Vanna, I don't want to, don't do it while she's live. But yes. Is there a Fourth Wall link in the Saving Throw Discord? No. Like I said, I've kind of been soft launching this, and I've sort of just been like telling people, because I kind of want to talk about it, before I sort of launch, start actively putting. Yes, it's on my website, but almost no one goes to my website right now, so no one has gone there in a long time. But I redesigned my website, if people are curious. But yeah, no, there's no, but it's just store.savingthrowshow.com is the link, store.savingthrowshow.com. And if, yeah, so that's that. Oh, I'm now, Ellie, I am looking at what you are putting together right now. Are you doing chainmail? Is that what you're doing? So that looks really cool. That's from the Discord. So yes, you can share. Please feel free to share store.savingthrowshow.com. Hit exclamation point FW if you're in Twitch chat, and you will get a link to it there as well. So yeah. Thank you, Keen. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So anyway, yeah, I'm really hoping that I can make this work. I'll be putting out more posts. You'll probably see if you're in like Savage Worlds Facebook groups and stuff like that, and I'm going to talk to Jody and hopefully get it posted on their newsletter and things of that nature. But I really wanted to kind of like make sure that I had the people that I needed behind the scenes before I really make a huge push for this to grow the numbers of the platform. So anyway, there's so many things that are going on right now in the world. I totally recognize that. The last thing is, I am being hard on myself, but I honestly think, obviously put your money towards what you need to survive. Obviously, I don't think anyone's not doing that, but I really think it's important, especially now, especially in such crazy hectic times that we live in. It's important to support the things that are supporting other people. And one of the things I hope we can do with Saving Throw, and one of the things I loved doing with Saving Throw was the charity work that we did. And I really want to take that platform. I don't want that platform to just go away, because we were doing a lot of good stuff. And so I want to be able to revitalize that and bring that back and do more good things. Not just tell a story about the times we live in through a parable, but also, take that and convert it into real world help, basically. So yeah, there's a lot. I don't know. So I've been, like I said, I've been stewing about these things for 3+ years. Basically concepts of how to run the company and how to run things better and more efficient and things like that. So I'm really excited to kind of get things rolling, get things started, and work with people to kind of make that stuff happen. So yeah, I appreciate the support and y'all kind of coming through for that. So anyway, thank you. So that's that. So I wanted to talk a little bit, if you are a streamer and you've been wanting to do captions for your stream and have been curious about kind of how to do that. There's a few different ways. I'm going to show you one way that I've been doing it that I think is pretty good, especially if you have multiple people coming in, like if you're running a tabletop RPG stream and you want to have individual captions for each of them. So there's a website called caption.ninja, and caption.ninja, not captions. There's a captions.ninja. Don't go there. Just singular caption.ninja. It's from the same guy who did Video Ninja, VDO Ninja. And it's a really just simple thing. You basically have to use Chrome or a Chromium browser to do this. So if you're done using Google Chrome, it may not work for you. But if you use Chrome, Edge, maybe, Brave, maybe, especially Chrome though. Chrome should work. Firefox doesn't really work that well. Anyway, so you hop on Chrome, you go to caption.ninja, and it will come up with a little thing that says, it will ask you for your microphone. And I would show it to you, but if I do that, it will kick off my own captions. So if you're okay with that, I can do that, and we can kind of see. Let me see if I can turn this on. Let's see. Oh, I got rid of that, didn't I? Let's see. Let me go here, and then let me turn that off. Yeah, I did turn it off. Okay, never mind. I won't show you right now. But anywho, it's really cool. So basically what it does is it just starts, you speak into your microphone. It asks you to turn on your microphone. You start speaking to your microphone, and you start seeing your captions just pulling up. And then you can just pull that in to like OBS, like I use, pull that in as a source. Just pull in a browser source. Essentially, you plug in that at the top. There's 3 blue buttons. You pull in the button for the overlay link, and you paste that into your overlay, like I've done right down there, and it shows it away you go. And it's you can, if I change this, I can make it go bigger or smaller and stuff like that. So anyway, you get it in there. So now you've got captions. So for individuals, you can do it a couple of different ways with Caption Ninja. So if you are doing a tabletop stream, you want to bring in different people in, you can. So this is to answer Diana Moon's question about whether you need it for each player or camera. You don't have to, but you can. So if you want to do it for each player camera, you just have each one of them log into Chrome, go to caption.ninja, and then send you that overlay link. And then you bring that back into OBS and you can create a little source. What I like to do is create a scene of that, a scene for each player. So let's say my scene is basically, it's my camera, it's my frame around me, and it would be my captions. And so I create that scene, and then that scene can then go into any source, or it can go into any other scene, because you can layer scenes on top of other scenes. So if I create, so this particular scene with the saving throw over there, and the want to support new stuff, and the proficiency, all that. So that's my overlay, right? This is my main scene. So then I just, in the sources field in OBS, I just add, and if you just click add, and you will see scene pop up, and you just choose the scene. So I would choose the Dom Zook scene, and then it would place that in this main scene. And then that way it's just one element, basically. I don't have to have a ton of sources in the scene. I just have the one scene for each player in there, and all that stuff is handled in a separate scene. So you can do it that way, and then you would have individual captions under each player, so you have that. Video Ninja, however, has a way. See you, Jay Matthews. Thanks so much. I really appreciate it. You can, in Video Ninja, the group, you can get captions for the group. So basically what it does is it in your group call, essentially. Video Ninja is great, and it's super robust. It seems complicated, but it's really not. Super robust. People call into Video Ninja. Video Ninja then understands that these are different people, and so it will create a caption link for the group. And in that group caption link, it will then give the name of the person. So long as you put a name into Video Ninja for you, and you have to be careful with this, right? It's good to be specific about what, and have everybody doing the same thing. So if one person is Dom and another person is Diana Moon, and another person is Jerry with a he/him next to it, like, it's all going to look different when it comes out in captions. So keep it all kind of consistent, but it will show your name and then what you said next to it. So you can have just one caption window in your overlay, and it will indicate who is speaking. So as long as you know who these people are, it's great for that. So Video Ninja, Caption Ninja, that's what I use for most of my stuff, to get basically what's called closed captions. So with closed captions, you can't turn them off or on. They're always on the screen. Open captions allow you to turn them off and on. And so there are ways to do open captions. They're sort of experimental with Twitch and YouTube, but there are ways to do that. YouTube does a lot of auto captioning as well, so you can always turn those on, but Twitch doesn't quite have that yet. So anyway, that's captions. If you want more, I can definitely do a bigger walk through of that at some point. I would be happy to do that, but I know a lot of people have been curious. I see tons of streams that don't do any captioning, role-playing streams, tabletop streams, and I'm like, come on, it's so easy. It's so easy, and it makes it so that people don't have to have the volume up and stuff, and still get the experience of that. I mean, it's not great. It doesn't do my name very well. So if I say Dom Zook, let's see what happens. Oh, see, it didn't even pick it up. So if I say my name, Dom Zook, yeah, Dom Zook, yep, Dom Zook, Dom Zook. Yeah, see, it doesn't, it has somewhat of a problem with proper nouns and stuff, especially names, and especially like fantasy names. It's not going to pick it up very well, but it is otherwise pretty accurate because it's using Google captioning software, so it's basically using the same stuff that's powering YouTube captions. So it's pretty good. OBS has a built-in captioning system that uses Microsoft speech to text. That is for, I believe, the open captioning for Twitch. So you can try and experiment with that and turn it on and see if it works. But yeah, I didn't turn it on for this stream, but maybe I will for another stream. We can look at it together. Yeah, so I will say with Caption Ninja, we used to use Web Captioner before. Caption Ninja, it will, if you don't keep that website open, it will then do you'll need a new link if you log back into it another time. So you can keep it open indefinitely, no problem, and it will just listen forever. But it does not like it if you open multiple instances of Caption Ninja. It can't parse that stuff into different things. Pretty robots. Pretty robust. Well, it got robust anyway. But yeah. Yeah. See, Caption Ninja, for the most part, has been pretty reliable on staying on and working for the entire session. Most of the problems that I've ever run into is when a player is not using Chrome for capturing the captions. So if they're using Firefox or another browser, it tends to be haphazard and doesn't work as well. Chrome is pretty much what you have to use for a lot of these services. So I would look there first if you are having problems with it. Again, it's one guy doing the programming, so it's not like there's a huge team working on this. There are ways also to change the font within OBS using CSS. If you're familiar with any CSS language systems, you can alter the font that shows up and the color of the text to be, something easier to read using like Open Dyslexic font or another font that's much more legible for people. So there are a lot of options of bringing it into as a browser source into OBS because you can kind of play with it a little bit more. So anyway, yeah, I don't know. I think it's pretty cool, and it's so easy to use that I don't know. I don't know why more people don't use it. Yes, it takes up screen real estate, but look, I mean, I can go here. It's still legible, still no problem. We use this for our Pathfinder stream. Everybody had their own captions underneath it, underneath their pictures, and we still had room for a dice window and a game window, a Foundry window, and ads and things like that. Yeah, I don't know why more people won't play with it, but there you go. So yeah, I'll bring more little tips and tools and stuff like that. One of the things that I really want to do with the new show is one of the things that's been really hard to do in a studio atmosphere is individual captions. doing captions alone is fine, but having it parse and tell who is talking and take those and put them different ways is really difficult unless you have literally a live captioner doing it for you, not a bot, but an actual person, which costs a lot. It's worth it, but it costs a lot. So what I want to do is I want to experiment with having individual mics on everybody. Hey, Modern Chow. And hi T on YouTube. Yeah, having captions in a live studio environment is a lot more difficult. So having everybody have individual mics, which is not something that we had in Saving Throw Studio of old. We had pretty much just 3 microphones on everybody, which made it hard. Audio was pretty good for what we needed, but it wasn't great. And so we always had those disclaimers in front of our podcasts of like, we weren't planning on this being a podcast, but here you go. This new project that I'm working on, the intention is that, yes, it starts on Twitch, but it would go to YouTube, and it would not have all of the problems that they're not problems. If you're on Twitch, they're great. If you're on YouTube, they're a nuisance, right? Yeah, there's a lot of different things. Thanks so much, Ellie. Thanks for dropping in, and awesome seeing your work on the Discord. Thank you for sharing it. It's really cool. Hopefully moving forward, we can have enough money to basically have everybody have their own microphone, and in a system that, it's a really tight pickup pattern. So it's pretty much only picking up them, hopefully only picking up them. And we can run each of those through its individual system to basically emulate as if we were doing it remotely and have that, system like I'm showing you here. So that's my hope, is that we can get to a point where we can do that, because I really haven't seen anything like that unless they're paying big bucks for an actual captioner to do it for them. And honestly, I don't know. Is Critical Role or Dimension 20 doing that? Because I haven't really seen the captions that they use, if they use any. So I don't know. But it is something I would like to explore. So anyway, I've just been chin wagging at y'all for the last hour or so. So that's really all I have right now. I mean, there's so many more things to talk about. I'm really excited about this project. I really can't wait to show you more. It's going to be epic. I think we may have to start small, and I'm okay with that. We may have to start with remote streams and do that until we can afford a studio and everything. But I'm really, really looking forward to creating this and taking all of the feedback I have over the 10 years plus that I've been producing content and applying it to a new show. I think there's really room for a show like this out there. Oh, that's awesome, Artemis. Thank you. They do individual captions. Okay, very cool. But yeah, I am excited to see kind of, basically what we're able to do, and where we're able to take it. So I really think that there's space for a non-D&D show out there, and one that sort of is doing things in a much more presentational way than not. And yeah. Hey, Cortra, yeah. So technically we started streaming. Our very first stream was in June 2014. That was the Acme Pathfinder live stream, the one shot that we did as part of a Kickstarter. And that kind of started the ball rolling. And then we really started going in January of 2015. And then Barky's Brigade started in March 2015, about 2 weeks before Critical Role. It started on Geek and Sundry. So we've been playing catch up ever since. Yeah. Anyway, so that's that. Yeah, I appreciate everything y'all have done and continue to do to support this channel. And I am, I'm really looking forward to presenting stuff to y'all. And yeah, I think it's going to be really fun. I think it's going to be kind of a throwback to what we've done in the past, but also with a lot more cool, fun, engaging elements to it, and ways that I think it's going to work on Twitch and YouTube and podcast in ways that it never was before. So, yeah, I'm really excited. Yeah, I don't know, but I can't wait to show you more of it when I've got stuff to show. So yeah, I'm going to be doing these. This is what I said before, but when the mood strikes me, I will pop on here as long as I don't have a job. So hopefully I'll have a job sooner rather than later. But until then, I'll be popping in here and there. So. Anyway, thank you all so much for joining me today. The players are definitely going to wear hats. Yeah, costumes are a big part of this. So yes, they're gonna wear hats. There's going to be props. There's going to be miniatures and stuff. Oh man, I if I could do all the things that I want to do, oh man, it would be so cool. We'll see. All right. I appreciate everybody. Thank you so much for joining me, and we'll talk with you soon. All right. Bye. I don't know what's supposed to happen now. Okay. Bye.